I'm making this video just in case it might help somebody. I came to Richmond to put a starter in my cousin's car, this Chevy Impala. And while I've been here, my car has started to mess a lot. For the last 2 or 3 years, it's been a little hesitant starting, and I've always been a little leery that it might not start, but it's always started. And as many of you have known who are following me, I've done quite an extensive work on this car lately. I put new injectors in, new spark plugs, changed the crankshaft sensor seals, not the actual sensor, but just the seals. Put in a new ECT sensor. And the car's been running pretty good. I did all that because I had 168,000 miles on it. And I had the car torn down to fix the coolant crossover seals. And I hadn't thought anything about the ignition coils being at the end of their life. And I've always had problems. I think I've always had a small head gasket leak, because I had some missing probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and what I thought was a little bit of a sweet smell out the exhaust. And the missing was pretty bad. It kind of scared me. I thought the car would stall on me sometimes. Once I got it up to speed, it was fine. It was just when it was at a stoplight. I put a tube of this AlumiSeal radiator stop leak in at that time, and after driving the car for maybe 6 months, my miss almost completely went away, so I was happy about that. So after I did all these repairs with the crossover seals and everything, got the car back together, and had a bunch of smoke coming out the tailpipe. And initially it started using about a cup of coolant every time I drove it for just a few minutes. So I put this stuff in it again, and it stopped blowing the smoke out the back, and it stopped using coolant in just a matter of a few times of driving it. So for a couple months the car was pretty much okay. It still had a little bit of a mess from time to time, especially at stoplights. But when I came here to Richmond, while I was here, it started messing really bad at stoplights, like every second. Sometimes it might be every 10 seconds, but it was enough to scare me. And then my cousin mentioned putting plugs in, and I told her I'd already put plugs in. And that's when the idea came to me. It could be your coils. Your coils have got a lot of miles on them. They've never been replaced. At 168,000, I thought, yep, I need to replace those. So I bought a new Delphi ignition coil pack, and I put that in the front head, the one by closest to the bumper, and that seemed to fix it a little bit. In fact, the starting issue felt much better. The car starts right up, but I'm still having some missing going on, and it's pretty bad at stoplights. So I went to Advance Auto after I put one new ignition coil in, and they read the codes for me. This is the original coil for bank 2, the one that's nearest to the bumper, and as you can see, it's cracked there, it's cracked there, it's cracked there, and it's got a little crack in it there, so it's not surprising that this thing probably is bad. Interestingly enough, one of the codes was for the ignition coil back here by the firewall. So this is the new coil I just put on. And I found out reading the last couple nights that these two coils are exactly the same. They're just different colors. I didn't know that. There is a sequence in the manual on loosening these bolts and retightening them. I'll leave the link of one of my videos where it shows the sequence. Okay, I got this new front one out of here. I just slipped it out. I'll work on getting that back one out. I've got the secondary air valve off and the pipes pushed back. So now let me see if I can loosen those bolts. Okay, I slipped that out towards the right, and using these tools, this is a 1/4 inch magnetic 10mm flex 360. So now I'll put this new one back in there. Okay, I got all that back in. It wasn't bad. So I'll put all this back together there. That 360 flex wrench. Flex socket is really nice. So I'm going to press the arrow, up arrow, and the on off at the same time, and hold it. I've got my key on, and I'm just waiting for this to go into diagnostic mode. There, it says all, so I'm in diagnostic mode now. I don't know if you can see it. I'm gonna hit the on-off button for all codes. I'm gonna hit it again. I'm gonna see how this starts up. It's been starting up fine. Okay, started up fine, so I'll drive it for a little bit. And by now my car would be missing about every second when I stopped at a stoplight. I haven't felt it miss yet. That might have been my problem all along. So I guess all the missing I've had has been from ignition coils going bad, which makes sense because they were old and my car isn't using coolant, so I'm so happy about that. I'm just so happy. Thanks for watching.